Please hit the Select tool. Click in the gray area so nothing is highlighted. We're going to always take 1/2 and duplicate it to make the second half as we're building parts of the trailer. The reason for that is then the second side is exactly the same, the curve is the same as the first side. So click on the half shell so that you have it highlighted. Alright, and now we're going to use the Move tool. Alright, click on the Move tool, bring it down to the bottom corner, click and hold down the left mouse key, hit the Control key. When you hit the Control key, you'll see a little plus sign that shows up right by our Move tool. This means we have copied the shell. Lift up the Control key and now slide your duplicate across. Now notice that as I'm sliding it across, right next to my Move tool, see how the line is green? If I move it one way or another, I lose the green line, which means I haven't moved it right straight across. So when I move it, I want to make sure I keep that green line. Release the Move key, and here's our duplicate. Now what we want to do, it's facing the wrong direction, so we're going to use a new tool. What I want you to do is right click anywhere on our pattern. We get a new window, and I want you to come all the way down to Flip Along. In this case, what we want to do is we want to flip the direction along the green line. So if I click on this, boom, it's automatically flipped. And now what I need to do is, still using my Move tool, I want to move this back and forth so that it matches just right. Now how am I going to do that? I'm going to move it out of the way so I can see it clearly. Going to zoom in by using the Scroll key, grab the corner, and then bring the corner right back over till it comes in contact, and you can see how it kind of pops in place once you get close. That tells you that you've got it right where it needs to be. Let go, and there we have our shell for our trailer. Now remember, this particular shell was just a beginning learning shell. You really can't use this for any specific trailer. Right now, people who are on the instruction with me, we have 8 different people with 4 different trailer shapes. So what I'm going to do in a little bit is I'm going to talk about how you get the different trailer shapes for the different years that the trailers were produced. But for right now, we're just going to work and keep this one simple so you can get used to using the tools and working with the principles that we want to work with. Alright, so there's our shell. The next thing that we'll be doing is creating the end cap. And again, we're going to keep the end cap pretty simple in the next lesson that we're working on. We'll just make a couple of moves here to get started. I want to use the same pattern. So what I'm going to do is go up to my components, look down here for the front section pattern. There's that little pattern we made. I'm going to click on it, bring it down to the line, and put it in place. Shut my components. Again, what you might have to do at this point is use your scroll button to scroll in. We really want that right on the red line. Get it as close as you can and release. Now what we're going to do this time is we're going to take and pull this out again using the pull tool, but we're only going to pull it out for the total length or total thickness of the end cap. So what I want you to do is we're going to scroll in again. We're going to double click, click again so we can see that we have just the inner gray area highlighted. Scroll button to scroll out again. Use the pull tool up here, or remember we can push the P key to bring up the pull tool, and I'm going to pull it out this time. That would just represent the thickness of the front cap. Now the front cap narrows down and comes to a curve, and to get the right shape I'm going to need to fill the front part of our shape in again. So I'm going to double click on it a couple of times to get the whole thing highlighted. Now you can see what's happened here is that this is not a separate component. Notice how the back one grew at the same time? And that's because this wasn't a unique shape. So let's go back and do that. Again, a lot of things happen. We try to point these out sometimes by creating a situation that looks like a mistake or is not what we're after. It's a good way to do it to come to understanding. So we're going to delete back to get back to just the edge we started with. The way you do that is hold Control and press the Z key. Control Z. And that will eliminate or erase the last couple of things you've done. If you want to go way back in a design, you can continue to press Control Z several times. I think the standard setting is somewhere between 30 and 50 times you can move back within a drawing. Click in the gray area again. Remember, if we want to make this a unique component, you need to click on it when you see this blue outline, which indicates that's a component. Right click, come down and click Make Unique. Now let's scroll back in using the scroll button. We're going to click on the shape till we get just the gray area. Again, you can come up and grab the pull tool up here, or you can hit the letter P, which will bring it up, and we'll pull it out again. Now you can see this time it pulled out and did not pull the back one, because now this is a unique component from the original one. Sometimes again we'll want them to be combined, and we'll look at that later. Alright, now what we need to do is fill in this front first so we can make the curve that we need. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on here enough times till I get the whole thing highlighted. I'm going to use the pencil tool, or again we could do L to draw a line. And here's a function in SketchUp that's very important. If you're not familiar with it, I want to point this out. I'm going to click here, draw my line down. Notice I'm keeping it so that it's blue because I want it to be on the straight up and down or vertical vortex. When I get down here so far, I'm not sure where to stop the line. If I tilt over and touch on this corner and let it hold for a second or two, now when I slide it back, if you look very closely, and you can probably see it better on your practice than you can on my screen, there'll be a little dotted green line that goes across here, which means I've got this lined up exactly with the bottom. Also, you'll notice the black dot over here, which is an indicator that I'm lined up. Notice when I come up too high, I don't see it. As I come down, the black dot appears over here at the same time. Then I know I have perfect alignment. So I can click the pencil tool again to finish that line. Alright, and then if I come over here, just pull right straight out to here, bang, I've got my second line, and I get the box filled in. Now if either one of these lines is not perpendicular or straight with our other design, the box won't show up. And so it meant that you got either one of these lines slightly out of order. So if you draw your box and you don't get it filled in, go back and review this part several times till you see what needs to happen. Alright, so we have our front cap started. We have the end filled in. And the next section, we need to quit our lesson at this point. Our next section will be to start making the curve.